Okay, this is part 3 about modern science from the book here, Hidden History of Nutrition, Health, and Science by me, Pete Rogers. And we're going through the early history of science. The modern scientific method was discovered and founded by the Catholic Church, okay? And we're going through some of the famous people in the history that led to what we now call modern science. This is the Venerable Bede, Catholic historian. He was active during the 600s and the 700s. He wrote the Ecclesiastical History of the English Peoples. He was a historian. He translated Greek and Latin writings, especially the early church fathers, but other Greek and Latin writings as well. And he helped develop the calendar. You know, when you hear, in the year AD, that means Anno Domini, in the year of the Lord. Okay? And what you're going to see is all these monks and clergy, they're the only ones who were literate that preserved the books of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and the early Christian writers. Now here is the book, How the Irish Saved Civilization by Thomas Cahill. And the Irish monks were like the most devoted monks. And everybody's so poor in Ireland, that's your only chance to learn how to read is to become a monk. And they did tons of work to found more and more new monasteries and to copy all these books. And they had so many monasteries that even though the Vikings would come and kill the monks and burn down their libraries, there were just so many monasteries they couldn't get to all of them. And thank God for that. And nobody else in the ancient world gave a rat's tail to preserve these ancient books. So that's a really good book, How the Irish Saved Civilization. Okay, now here's another guy. This is St. Columbanus, which is actually different than St. Columba, and he's another founder of monasteries, okay? He lived from 543 to 615 AD, okay? And then here, let me show you the other St. Columba, and he is a more aggressive guy, St. Columba. He was also a major instrumental guy. Columcille is the other way to say his name, for founding many monasteries, okay? And he was around from 521 to 597 AD. So these are the guys that were in the trenches making it happen. Okay, here's the Book of Kells, which is an Irish version of the Bible. And you notice the, rather amazing drawings and calligraphy and all the little margin notes. And you can see pretty well where Monty Python got all these ideas, and like Sergio Aragonés to put all these little drawings in the margins. The Book of Kells is full of these types of things. It's a very beautiful manuscript. It was produced by the Irish monks in 750 AD, Anno Domini. Okay, so here is Bishop St. Isidore of Seville in Spain, real scholar, painting by Bartolomé Esteban Murillo, great Spanish painter. And he wrote the first big encyclopedia. So when you look at who summarized the knowledge of the world, you've got Aristotle in the ancient world, and then Cicero to some extent for the Romans, and then you've got Bishop St. Isidore of Seville, okay? And he was also a doctor of the church. And he wrote, like I said, an encyclopedia. And he covered all kinds of things: grammar, rhetoric, geography, math, astronomy, medicine, agriculture. He lived from 560 to 636 AD. So these are the guys who kept the truth alive after the barbarians had sacked Rome. This book by Philip Campbell is In Pursuit of Wisdom, Catholicism and Science Through the Ages, about how, again, it's the Catholic Church that kept science, that kept scholarship alive, that kept continuity with the ancient Greeks and ancient Romans and the early Christian founders of the Catholic Church. Okay, so when people try to say that religion and science are opposed, they're 100% wrong. It's because of the Catholic Church that the modern scientific method exists. The idea that the universe was rational, we have a rational God, we're created in His image, therefore we can be like Him in our own limited ability, and that the universe is knowable. In Indian, Hindu, Maya, they got Maya, the universe is unknowable. The ancient Greeks also had this idea that the universe was created by rational gods, and that you could understand things. Okay, so the ancient Greeks and their religion mythology goes perfect with Catholicism. Not a surprise. The New Testament's written in Greek. Okay, just one more slide here, I think, and that'll be it for today. This is a masterpiece of a book, How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization by Thomas Woods, okay, and he goes how almost all the useful institutions, they're all developed by the Catholic Church. The Romans didn't care at all about poor people. As far as they're concerned, if you're stupid enough to be poor, you deserve to die or be a slave. The Roman Catholic Church, they built the institutions of the West. They built the hospitals, the university system, the cathedrals, the monasteries. They developed capitalism with their extended system, including their Christian missionaries overseas, the concept of natural rights. All the universities were in Latin and Christendom, systems to more effectively copy books, okay? They kept everything together. They are civilization. The Catholic Church, when you say Western civilization, it's really Christian civilization, okay? That's what Western civilization is. It is Christian civilization. And all through this time, there really wasn't much around the rest of the world that you could call civilized, okay? People like to pretend there was, but where are their books, okay? And like I said too, little tiny England, this little microscopic island, controlled the whole world. How could it control all these places unless they were backwards? They were pretty backward. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you found that helpful.